Hi, my name is Amy. My sisters and I are triplets, but not in the way you'd imagine. We are conjoined siblings. My sisters' names are Elena and Anna. Yes, my parents thought it'd be cute to give us all names starting with A. I'll be telling you the struggles we went through and how my sister Anna is ruining Elena and my lives. They won't be telling their sides of the story, so don't expect to hear them in this video. Elena is too shy to talk about all this mess, and Anna is the one creating this whole chaos. I don't want to hear her talking at all. My mom and dad never saw our unique condition coming. The pregnancy was perfectly normal, and the doctors assured Mom she was only expecting one baby. Apparently, my sisters were hiding behind my head the few times she underwent an echography. Though she did check with doctors to make sure we were okay and took us to the pediatrician as we grew up, she usually avoided the hospital as often as possible. Perhaps if Mom had visited the doctor more regularly, they would have discovered the truth earlier. I'm not sure it would have made much of a difference, though. Nothing prepares people to deal with conjoined twins, let alone triplets. My parents had the room prepared for the arrival of their firstborn, but things were not going to be so easy. Mom wanted to deliver us in some kind of natural birth, but that ended up being impossible. We wouldn't come out. How could we? If we had 3 heads in a single body? So the doctors had to perform an emergency C-section. Mom tried to refuse for as long as possible, but she gave in when she was told her baby's life was at stake. Imagine the doctors' and nurses' surprise when they saw my sisters and me for the first time. 3 heads and 3 necks shared a single body. We all cried at the same time, or so my mom claimed. She said she was shocked and asked what was going on. The doctors didn't know what to say. Having 3 heads on a baby was almost unheard of. There were plenty of cases of conjoined twins, but triplets were a real oddity. It was hard, but they broke the news to my parents. They couldn't believe that anything like that could actually happen to them. The truth of the matter is, my parents tried their best. They were expecting a healthy daughter and received 3 babies in the same body. We demanded far more attention and had to endure surgery at a really early age. My parents tried to find a potential solution to our problem, but there was no way to separate us. We shared all the same vital organs, except our brains. We were born with an extra arm and a larger body, but other than that, the rest of our body worked as any other person would, so there was no possibility to cut us apart. Growing up with this condition was super hard. You might think that the other 2 heads weren't fully formed or something, but that's not the case. We are 3 entirely separate people. It's just that we live in the same body. We each have our own personalities, preferences, likes, and dislikes. Imagine growing up constantly around someone else 24/7 without any chances of being alone, even for a few seconds. We were connected in every sense of the word. My parents had to buy a special bed for us, as well as custom-made clothes. You can figure out why none of the regular outfits a kid would wear could fit us. We had 3 whole heads and 3 arms we needed to fit into the dresses and shirts. So no matter what we used, it always had to be made especially for us. I'm grateful my parents didn't struggle financially, since that is probably what allowed us to have a decent life. If they hadn't been able to provide for us, we might not have lived for long, or at least not lived well. My mom and dad loved us dearly, even if it was clear they were in over their heads. They didn't know how to handle babies, and then kids and teenagers with 3 heads and 3 distinct personalities. Everything was harder for us than a regular child. Sleeping was a struggle, making friends was a struggle, studying was a struggle, even bathing, eating, and going to the bathroom was a whole long and complicated process. Plus, I didn't get along at all with one of my sisters, Anna. If you have siblings, try to imagine being glued to your sister or brother all the time, them being by your side every single second of the day. If you don't, replace it with your best friend. No matter how much you might like them, you'd grow frustrated after a day or 2. Exactly. That would be super annoying. We didn't have to endure that just a handful of days. It was our entire life. Now, even the sister I like, Elena, gets on my nerves from time to time. I imagine the same happens to her. Being with Anna, meanwhile, is always a nightmare. I love Elena to bits, but Anna is another story altogether. Growing up, we all had really different personalities. Elena was always really quiet and loved to read. She's super shy and rarely speaks to strangers. She preferred being alone, or as alone as you can be with 2 siblings sharing your body. Anna was super short-tempered, and she got angry so suddenly we never knew when it was coming. It was hard enduring her temper tantrums and her cruel streak. Plus, she was really nasty toward people, and the few friends we had hated her too, so it became super hard keeping any friendships growing up. What's worse, we always had to do what she wanted. If Elena wanted to stay in and read her books, but Anna preferred going outside, you can imagine who'd win. Anna would make sure to be super loud and really annoying just to get her way. So Elena tried to read, and Anna would close the book, punch my other sister or me, or just scream and talk nonstop until we gave up. Then she was in a super good mood again. She was incredibly spoiled and selfish. I am the one in the middle of Elena and Anna, so I try my best to be sort of a buffer between them. I'm far more laid back and prefer to simply chill and have a good time. I think we already have enough problems to deal with as it is. We don't need to add drama and arguments into our lives. The problem was that, with time, Anna's faults didn't get better. They got worse. Far worse. My sister didn't allow us to do anything she didn't feel like doing. So if we needed to get homework done and she wanted to play, she'd throw water on our folders or write all over our papers. If we wanted to watch a movie she didn't like, she'd scream so we couldn't hear. We'd always end up giving up because she simply wouldn't stop. No matter how much we tried to reason with her, she kept it up. Even when Elena sobbed or I explained how much her attitude upset us, she seemed not to care about our needs or preferences. Everything was about her, and she acted out constantly. She always wanted to be the center of attention and would make up the most ridiculous stories. She had gotten us in so much trouble with the teachers by the time we got to high school that my parents had to actually find a new school for us. Things did not get better after that. On the contrary, she began doing cruel, crazy stuff and then blaming it on either Elena or myself. She would destroy a student's cell phone and then say it was Elena for no good reason. Then she'd scribble all over the tables and say I had been the one to do it. She once even clogged the toilet on purpose and cut Elena's hair while both of us slept. I managed to wake up before she got to me. Imagine how hard it is to ground a child that is misbehaving when their siblings are attached to her. My parents couldn't punish only Anna for her cruelty without us also suffering. So if Anna couldn't watch TV or have dessert, we had to endure the same punishment. Anna would taunt us about it, finding glee in denying us nice things even if she had to go without it as well. My sister Anna was the one in charge of our left arm and leg, so you can imagine how messy that got. Until we turned 17, she had been nasty but not dangerous. Then everything began to change. We were about to cross the street when the traffic light changed. We stopped, waiting for the cars to stop speeding past us, when I felt someone trying to push us forward. At first, I thought someone was behind us, but then I realized it was my own body that was moving, or at least, it was the left side of my body. Anna was trying to walk straight into traffic. Elena and I screamed at her to stop. We actually had to throw ourselves back and fall to the floor in order to stop her. We demanded to know what on earth she was thinking, and she let us know she wanted to hurt us. We reminded her that by hurting us, she was hurting herself. Anna laughed and said she didn't care. That was when I understand that Anna wasn't merely annoying and cruel. She was absolutely insane. Elena and I decided to speak to our parents, and we told her everything that Anna had done and said that day. They were really worried, of course, but they didn't want to pick favorites. Mom and Dad loved us all equally, and they didn't think Anna was evil. They just thought she was troubled. So they sent us to talk to a shrink. I hope I could say that this improved our relationship, but it only made it worse. Anna was furious that we had told on her and was determined to ruin our lives completely. She began doing everything in her own power to mess with us. While we were walking down the street, she'd scream foul things at people around us. She didn't allow us to sleep in peace, waking the two of us in the middle of the night by making loud noises or forcing us to sit up. She would refuse to clean her hair, and taking a shower became such a struggle. If it was hard before, now it was almost impossible. Whenever Elena and I tried to study, she'd mess with us, and taking exams became harder than ever. Still, we somehow managed to graduate from school. Elena wanted to go to college, but I can't imagine Anna letting us do that. Anna has been making sure our every second with her is a living nightmare, and what's worse, Elena and I can't escape. She even hurts us when we are sleeping, so we can't even enjoy a nice rest without stressing about her messing with us. I really don't know how the situation is going to be solved, but I'm afraid for Elena's life, as well as my own. Anna doesn't seem to care if she lives or dies. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out our other videos on this channel.